Thursday. Look who's here.
I know.
Hey, guys.
It's been a while.
Hi,
man.
Bull.
You're so far away over there.
Well, it's because we've got the 5-tier configuration today because later in the program, Ted Ginn Sr. will sit right there.
Legend.
We are going to be amongst royalty, folks.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
And I don't just mean as a football coach. I mean as a human being. If you don't know the history of Ted Ginn Jr., stick around. You're going to find it out. I talked last week on the show how I can't understand why what LeBron's doing with his I Promise School in Akron hasn't been duplicated on a mass scale across the country. I also can't understand how what this man has done at an inner-city Cleveland school with very few resources, I can't understand how that isn't being duplicated on a wide scale.
Yeah.
It's incredible work.
Couldn't it be happening? We just don't know about it? I mean,
Well,
I'm sure it's happening some places.
It's not that it's not happening because there are other Ted Ginn Seniors in other communities.
Sure.
There should be one in every major community. In every major inner city across this country, there should be someone like Ted Ginn Sr. who, from jump, openly invests in any community's biggest resource. It's kids. And he's done a remarkable job, not just turning out football players. He'll tell you that's not how he measures his success. When he meets someone that's 33 years old that played for him 15 years ago, that never went to college and never played in the NFL, and they stand before him and tell him, Coach, you changed my life, that's the biggest impact a coach can have. And he's had that kind of impact. So I'm very excited that he's on the show.
He's
very much looking forward to that.
He's definitely made a lot of people's dreams come true. I mean, before him, I mean, it was a lot of kids that wanted to play football at, Ohio State and, go to college and play not just football, but get an education. And I mean, some people, when I was growing up, people would transfer to go to Glenville because they knew that he was able to make those dreams come true and he was able to make kids' dreams reality. Now, he does it through hard work. I mean, he
does. There's no substitute.
And what I really respected about him the most is that, I went to Bedford, but, I talked to him a lot while I was going through my college recruiting. And he talked to me as if I was one of his players, giving me advice and stuff like that. And even today, I never played him in a game. Okay. We played him in a 7-on-7 at the Browns facility. We played him twice. We played him in a little regular season, lost. But in the playoffs, we beat them because Tyvis Powell intercepted the game-winning pick and sent them out of the playoffs. It's just something about Tyvis Powell and just clutch moments.
He's talking about himself in the first
I
person.
don't know what it is, but when Tyvis Powell is somewhere around the ball, if the game is on the line and the ball is thrown in Tyvis Powell's direction, he's somehow, except for one time against the Cardinals, but that doesn't matter.
We're gonna ask Mr. Ginn. Because here, you
don't have to ask him, G. He just told me. He goes, Tyvis Powell, who's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Good morning, McNuggets. What's up?
Yeah. I'm doing good. Coach is back here getting mic'd up. We're going to have him in about 11:30. Coach, appreciate you coming. He's got the bling on, by the way. When he sits down, you guys will see the
Hell yeah.
He's got quite a ring to show off here for you guys.
He's worked very hard for that ring. I would never take that ring off.
Now, here's what I'm going to ask you, Tyvis. You retired. You know what I'm saying? He got Junior that's retired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like you can get that smoke.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
Ted Ginn Jr. is one of the fastest dudes to
I
ever play cleats.
I understand that.
Did you ever line up against Teddy?
No, I never lined up against Ted. But
Are you faster than him, though, Tyvis?
No.
That's the real question.
No, I'm not faster than Ted.
No,
but
not right now.
Is that the first time in the history of Tyvis has admitted he's not
wait a minute.
the GOAT at something?
Wait a minute. Put the camera on me, Steve, because I got to get this. Tyvis Powell does not fear anybody with speed, okay? I had the privilege of going up against an Olympian by the name of Marquise Goodwin every day in practice. And if I can handle him, I can handle anybody with speed.
And Marquise is fast.
And Marquise is an Olympian we're talking about here. So, speed does not fear me. I don't fear speed, okay?
You should. Speed
not
kills.
at all.
Yeah, man.
Well, so let me ask you this. Myles Garrett's speed, right, his athletic ability on the end with Jim Schwartz's wide 9 defense, it's going to make a big difference.
Now that is something to fear.
Put it up already.
Yeah. Well, you were here yesterday when we all gave our opinion on the hiring of the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So go.
Oh,
what do you think?
My opinion on Jim Schwartz is he's a great defensive coordinator. Obviously, a guy that got Super Bowl ties or won the Super Bowl. And I love what he does with his defense. The wide 9 thing, obviously, we got to see Myles Garrett do it a little bit with Joe Woods this year. I wasn't a fan of it because our run defense wasn't stout enough.
Right.
Like, if you're going to run a wide 9, that's something that you do on obvious passing downs. because you want Myles Garrett to have a two-way go on the tackle. You're doing it basically to isolate the tackle.
So he can go outside.
So he go outside or inside.
Yeah.
If the tackle kick steps too far back, he could go up and under. If he doesn't get back far enough, he could go around him and make the play. That's why that happens. And then I was talking to Bull earlier about this before the show. He was saying that Jim likes to run a lot of man. Now I believe we definitely have the secondary to do that. Having G. New, having Denzel, and having Martin Emerson. Those guys are very sticky. The reason that you want to have man coverage behind a wide 9 is because you want to have tighter coverage. People still believe that you run man to get interceptions. That's not the case. You run man to have the coverage tighter because it's buying the pass rush extra time to get there.
Yeah.
My only thing is that it's still the defensive tackle position.
Yeah.
If we address that, then we should be
right.
all right.
Obviously, that's the number one priority for the defense this offseason is addressing the defensive tackle position. We've talked about Deron Payne, who, if he becomes a free agent, the Browns should target. Certainly, you would think with their second-round pick, which is, the 40-something pick in the draft, 50, whatever it is, I started looking up mock drafts today for the first time. Dane Brugler, who's a local guy who writes for The Athletic. I can't remember who he had, but he had a defensive tackle, and he was like, they get this guy, whoever the guy was, Quiddy, I think was his name.
It's a no-brainer. They're
He
going
was
to go
like,
DT.
this guy will already be the
first,
best
right?
defensive tackle on the Browns. So obviously that's important. But what we were talking about with the corners, we talked about this a lot this year. It feels like when Denzel especially plays man-to-man, it just makes him more aggressive. And whether he gets a pick or not, like him playing aggressively,
you just wanted to
he's
be
just better. He's better that way.
The thing that frustrates anybody that watches the game of football is watching a wide receiver run down the field and be open. It's
Lord.
why?
We saw that all year.
Yeah, exactly. Why? But if you're playing man-to-man, obviously somebody's responsible for it. Now, Denzel plays a lot of man. He didn't necessarily make the play all the time, but it was at least nice to see him at least making a play on the ball, trying to get it out.
He was with the ball.
Exactly.
When the ball reached the receiver, he's usually there.
Yes.
Which is what you want.
Tyrus, I was talking to my dad the other day. I was laughing and joking. I said, what happened?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, that too.
Siri is always listening.
Hey, by the way,
she's
man,
always listening.
Nice pro move, bro.
These dudes right here, man, Google, y'all need to stop listening to these conversations.
Yeah, they listen to everything, man.
Y'all did not sign up for that. I did not say listen to me all the time.
Y'all ever notice that when you sitting down talking about like a product or something like I'm about to get this new
You start
clip
getting ads.
and start popping up all the ads.
Yes.
They listening, man.
I was sitting there asking my dad, I said, did they just get rid of bump and run coverage? That is gone. I ain't heard that since 2002. You can't bump and run
What is that?
gone.
This is my question. No, but the question about that is this: what do y'all value out of a defensive back? Do you want a defensive back that
I used to value that.
So would
You're not
you
letting
rather
these guys get clean releases?
Would you rather the corner play bump and run and get PBUs, or would you rather them play off, see the ball, and make picks?
I'm not a fan of that style. I'm not.
So you rather just get PBUs all day and not picks?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Because
you know what they lead to?
You know that
Punts.
the interception is the greatest single defensive play that a defensive player can make.
I agree with that. But
when you go to the Hall of Fame as a DB, they measure you for interception.
But it shouldn't be that.
I get that.
That's what it is.
But it wasn't for Deion Sanders, and he's the yardstick.
Do you listen?
He's the greatest of all time.
Go look at the current DBs in the Hall of Fame. I think it's only like one DB that has less than 50 picks.
Because the problem is, for years we didn't know. It was like, how do you judge? Judging defensive players, there's not a lot of statistics.
Right.
And that's why now we have all these analytics.
But with
some
you know what,
people
with
scoff
Deion,
at.
it was passes thrown in his direction.
Well, nobody threw the ball to
Zero.
Deion.
He closed off a quarter of the field when he was out there.
But
Deion also had a lot of pick sixes.
He did.
He
earlier in his career.
That's Deion, bro.
We need to do a read. McNuggets, take it.
We do. We got into Browns talk a little quicker than I thought, so let's hop into Tri-C and let you know that our daily Browns talk is brought to us by Cuyahoga Community College. Tri-C supports their students financially, professionally, personally, opening up the doors of endless possibilities, whether it's Haga, Hoga, you name it. It's still opening doors because Tri-C is where the future starts. It starts right now. It actually started already because classes are underway as we speak. You have till Friday to sign up. Tyvis, question about interceptions, though. Denzel Ward had 3 picks this year. 2 came in tight man-to-man coverage. Think of the one on Terry McLaurin where he essentially danced with him. The other one against Atlanta, he was in tight press man coverage, bump and run on a little mesh route across the middle that he jumped. The third one came on a zone play against Baltimore. So are you saying interceptions don't happen in man or just less frequently?
No, it's less frequently. The only time that you really make interceptions in man-to-man is usually if it's a bad throw by the quarterback or if you just so happen to guess the route correctly and undercut it and make the play, which in today's –
you can jump routes. You can sit on routes.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just telling you. Like, for example, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Okay. Everybody loves Jalen Ramsey, but Jalen Ramsey has probably like 20 picks in his career. No. He's been playing for 7 years.
You've been dogging him all year.
Well, he's lost his fastball.
And I'm glad that everybody is starting to finally realize what I've been saying.
I came to you months ago.
And what did I tell you?
Right.
But
before you came to me, what did you think?
Right.
Exactly.
You talked us into not liking Jalen Ramsey.
Like, Greg Newsome is yet to have an NFL pick in his career.
That makes him a bad corner.
Here's the thing, Tyvis. You know this as well as everybody. Don't nobody know what corners do. Corners are rare. There might as well be elves and fairies. Like, you don't see corners, bro. Like, if you come across somebody that played ball, they was not a corner. They was not no elite corner. That's why if you half decent as a corner, you automatically 5-star.
That's a fact.
And then if you're an offensive lineman, don't nobody know what offensive linemen do. No. Half the people ain't never been an offensive. So what they do, if you good 1 year.
That's you good forever.
You win a Pro Bowl early.
Remember the Asamoah?
Remember?
Greatest of all time. Offensive line too. You go to the Pro Bowl as an offensive lineman.
Your rubber stamp forever.
Even if you're not that good.
Coach Ginn know this. If you make All-Ohio your junior year,
you make it into your senior year.
Easily.
It's a given.
Let me ask you this, guys. So, what's the most interceptions a cornerback's going to have in a year?
Five is exceptional, I think.
I think
they're 5.
Yeah.
What do you think led the NFL this year?
7? No,
you're talking about, was it a 7. Corner or a DB?
Just this year, who led the league in interceptions?
I don't know.
I know that Tyreek Woolley dude had from Seattle had like 8 of them, and he was leading for a long time.
Asante Samuel had 3 in a game.
He did.
He did have 3. The league leader this year, by the way, were both safeties. Minka Fitzpatrick and Justin Simmons with 6 each.
Okay, so 6 led the league. So think about this, guys.
That's terrible.
It used to be more.
It used to be double digits.
No corner had more than 5 interceptions. So think about this. How many plays?
How many picks that dude from Seattle had? That rookie.
He must have 5. So think about this.
How many Diggs had 11 last year?
How many plays is a corner on the field for?
That's a good year
for the season.
How many what?
A starting corner. How many plays he's playing in a season?
Oh, a lot.
Hundreds,
they playing like 55 a game.
Yeah.
55 a game. Quick math, 550 times about 800. Let's say 800 plays. What?
About 1,200.
All right, 1,200 plays. If you're talking about we're judging guys based on 5 out of 1,200 plays. That's insane. Judging a corner based on interceptions is stupid.
See, it's a difference from just being good and being great. We're talking about the Hall of Fame.
But you can say that about
what I'm talking about, interceptions.
We judge them by touchdowns.
Yeah, interceptions lead to Hall of Fame.
I judge them by, but there's other stats we could judge them by. There's yards, there's catches.
Because he's an offensive player. Well, defensive players pass breakups.
You could go off. Yeah, you can go off with completion percentage.
No, I'm talking about Tyvis's point that guys get in the Hall of Fame based on interceptions.
Oh, they do.
Which is true. I'm not disagreeing with you. But I think it's stupid.
It's the equivalent of the touchdown for the wide receiver.
See, and the thing is, you should be getting more interceptions now than back then because it's more of a passing league.
That's true.
Yeah. So why is it that the numbers are down?
I will tell you why. Because, man, DBs should be like receivers.
What's that supposed to be? We are.
No.
The hands
better.
They do.
If you had hands, you'd be a receiver.
And I don't even think it's his hands. I think it's the ball awareness, right?
I agree with that.
And there's people, there's certain routes, Ty, we talked about it. If you know they do based on their split, based on their alignment, based on down
you can tell right off the release.
You know what they're running. Yeah. The most thing that gets on my nerve is it's 3rd and 10. You know where the sticks is.
Play the sticks. I'm sitting at 10 yards and I ain't moving.
Why are you bailing?
10 yards and I'm not moving.
Why are you turning and bailing before the snap? Now all he got that's a stop. That's pitch and catch every single time.
That's when you can do that. When you sit at 3rd and 10, sit at the sticks and don't move. If you do that, first of all, you got a lot of confidence in yourself and you know the game. You know that they got to run something at 10 yards. So you just sit there. And if he throws something under 10, come over and make the tackle, get off the field.
Okay, we're off topic. I need more of your thoughts on Jim Schwartz. Have you talked to players that have played for him? Do you have any connections to him? What do we need to know about our new defensive coordinator?
I have not personally talked to – the only guy that I talked to was my guy that played at Tennessee last year, but he said he was just the linebackers coach in Tennessee, so it wasn't really his defense. Yeah. But he said that the couple of times that he interacted with Jim Schwartz, he really loved him, really liked the coach that he is. So, and that's what a lot of people that I've seen on Twitter and a lot of former players was coming out congratulating him for his job. Everybody said that he is a really good coach. He understands their players and stuff like that. So I think that the Browns might have did something well with this. Obviously, you got a guy who used to be a head coach, so he got that experience. He knows how to run a team. If Kevin Stefanski is going to be hands-off of this thing, which I don't think he will be. If my job's on the line, I'm monitoring everything. But
I mean, it appears that he is sort of de facto absentee.
Yeah.
Like
Jim Schwartz is going to be the head coach of the defense.
Basically.
And I'm good with that.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If it's as long as he can get those guys to play and instill confidence. And the number one thing that he has to find is who is the leaders and how do we make these guys vocal leaders? They have to make.
But can somebody be a vocal leader if that's not his nature?
I don't know.
I mean, Myles Garrett, as great a player as he is,
I don't think Myles is ever going to be that
guy.
But
at some point, you get frustrated. Like, you got to do things that you never thought you would do before. Like, to me, I was never always a quote-unquote vocal leader. But at some point, if you get frustrated over a course of the game, it just comes out because you care. It matters. Like, at points of this season, did it matter to them that they was losing these games? And it's not the fact that they were losing the game. It was the style at which they were losing the game. You let a team come run the ball on you. Like, that's just flat out telling you we just more physical and we more dominant than you. At what point is there some resistance? At what point do you go talk to your teammates and say, we are better than this?
Well, Bull, maybe we've talked about how teams always take on or oftentimes take on the personality of their head coach.
Yeah.
Well, if he is the head coach of the defense, by the defense just watching him every day be that vocal leader in practice, it might empower somebody on that defense to step up and be that guy.
The Browns really need Myles Garrett to lead the way.
I agree, but I don't think he's that guy.
For when Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator here, I'm a pretty laid-back guy. I know I could be animated at times, but pretty laid-back guy. When G-Dub was the DC here, I felt like after listening to that man talk, you feel like you can go beat up Mike Tyson one-on-one. Because that's just that was what he instilled in his
Campbell's
players.
doing that right now in Detroit as the head coach.
And that's what they
need. And it's working.
That's what they need.
Wow. They haven't gone to the playoffs in 2 years.
But let's face it. Let's look at what they were this year compared to what they've been. And by the way, they should have gone to the playoffs.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
The refs, the league actually came out and talked about 5 different calls that affected the outcome of that Seattle Rams game.
You know what?
Rams should have won that game, and that would have put the Lions in the playoffs.
They need to start penalizing referee.
I agree.
Y'all need to dock they pay or something for this call.
This is ridiculous.
Here's what we need to do. We need to stop making Myles Garrett the second coming of the Messiah. And like the man has 16 sacks, my man.
Back-to-back seasons.
Like 16. Like we expect this dude to Porter Gatorade, get 16 sacks, do your Christmas shopping.
Wait a minute, when you say stop,
dishes,
walk the dog and paint the back porch.
Overhyping.
No.
You're saying you don't think it's fair to ask him to lead?
No. Here's what I think is fair. I think it's fair to ask the rest of the people to do their damn job.
I agree with that.
Yes.
If you be
1,000%.
Let me ask you this. Let me tell you this. Let me show you how this is.
Yeah.
If I play today, I'm not waiting on Myles Garrett for nothing. I got to get my own bag.
Fair.
That's a fact.
I got to make me some plays.
That's a fact.
Why am I waiting looking at this man, and I'm over here, he got 16 sacks. Why don't you get 16? Can you get 15? I can't go to my wife. My wife is not cashing Myles Garrett's wife's checks. I got to get them checks for,
I get what you're saying. Agreed. We all agree on that, but somebody's got to lead, no? One of the players is got to be the leader.
Anthony Walker will be back next year.
You know what type of
Willie, he's a free agent.
You know how,
he'll be back. They seen the dramatic difference that him being on the field and him not being. You got to keep a guy like that.
I think he's upgrade.
Would you rather have people who make plays or lead?
Well, of course I'd rather people make plays. But why can't I have?
Ain't that what this about?
That's what it's about.
Can't I have a player that leads and makes plays?
You can lead by example. Get them 16 like I got them.
I know Coach Ginn's 10 minutes away, but he's sitting right there, so I'm going to ask him this question. Coach, do you need a leader on the field on each unit all the time? Absolutely, and that man knows.
Coach, do you need people to make plays?
So now in the utopic world,
Right.
that guy's the same guy.
He's the same
and it just may not, but I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, can Myles Garrett do that too? But I know he's being asked to do it.
Hold on. I wish Coach was sitting here right now. Coach,
You want to bring him out?
yeah, come on in. Just come on in.
Stop the games.
Well, hey, while we're doing
Stop
this,
the
let me get
games.
some reads in. real
All
quick.
right, you do your read. Because I got a great question.
We're going to get into this.
We're going to get back to Coach in one
Immediately.
sec. He's going to hook him up. But while we're doing that, Coach, thanks for joining us. If you're not a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show already, for $1.99 a month, you can become a starters tier member. That gets you all the loyalty badges, the custom emojis, access to our community posts for $4.99 a month. That's less than $5 a month. It's less than $60 per year. You get all those same starter tier perks. You get the overtime video, shout out, discount codes for merch. You can text with us, and we're going to answer your questions directly. That number to text us, I'm answering the questions this week, is on the community members tab on